Am I the asshole for not stocking the fridge for my husband after his business trip? My husband went out of the country for a business trip and returned home over the weekend. I was out of town visiting friends when he returned. His gripe was that he was left with no food. For context, I do the majority of the grocery shopping, 90-10 split, and he does share the other chores. I admit there was not a refrigerator full of fresh food because I did not go to the store that week. However, I can attest that there was a freezer with several meals and a pantry with food that could have been prepared. Perhaps not what he was hoping for, but there were options. Also, we live in a major city with plenty of grocery stores and restaurants within walking distance. Again, not ideal after a red-eye international flight, but options. At first, it wasn't a big deal or more of a joke. He repeatedly made jabs at me about it. I stood up for myself, and now it's a full-blown argument. I can acknowledge that it would have been nice if I had stocked the fridge upon his return from the trip. However, I work a full-time job myself. Okay, that answers. Okay, I had the whole thing ready to go. I work a full-time job myself, and see it as we're both capable adults at providing food for ourselves when the other's busy. I've got to know, am I the asshole in this situation? I definitely have an answer for that. So Shannon's got ideas. Shannon says that the man can Uber Eats. Now, my first knee-jerk reaction was, the beginning of all this, I need to know the stipulations and boundaries and of your marriage, to be honest. He brings to the table financial stability. I bring to the table being a trad wife, or, you know, my looks, or just being your wife. You know, just the whole trad wife idea. You get the vibe, right? You're not working, you're taking care of our kids, you're taking care of the homestead. Even right, that was bullshit what I just said. What I just said is work. That is all labor and that is all work. But you're not getting a W-2 for that. Put it that way, right? You're not having to commute and all that. And at the end of the day, man's is paying the bills. Then this woman, if that was the arrangement going in, this woman would definitely be the asshole. But I can acknowledge that it would have been nice if I had stocked the fridge upon his return from trip. However, I work a full-time job myself. Stop right there. Time out. Men. If you want a trad wife who's going to stock the fridge, make sure the house is spotless. If you want a woman who is there's plenty of women out there who are ready to fit that bill, right? But my dog. So what that means is you have to position yourself to where you can cover her material needs, so she can be at home doing trad wife stuff, right? You cannot have it both ways. You cannot say, I expect you to do all this traditional wife work, but also we're splitting the bills 50-50. That doesn't make any sense. That makes zero sense. So if you're expecting her, you expect her to work a full-time job, then take care of house shit, then she is doing way more in the relationship than you are. Forget your business trips. Forget whatever, however much money you're making, dude, is not enough. It's not enough to support the lifestyle that you want. Like, I want to live I want to live inside of Spaceship Earth in Epcot, right? And I'm sure if I had enough money, Disney would be more than happy to build me an apartment inside of Spaceship Earth. But I can't demand that if I'm not ready to foot the bill. We can all want things, but if I'm not ready to if I'm not in a position to foot the bill for it, then like, it is what it is. One meal shouldn't lead to some, but you could tell that's a long time coming, because this guy just wants it all. he wants a trad wife, but he's not ready to pay the bills. What was that lady? And Shannon and I talk about her all the time. What was that lady in Love Is Blind, Habibi? This is my girl. I can't remember her name, but we'll just call her Jessica Rabbit. What do we have for 1080p, please?
Don't do coffee dates. I don't do walking dates. I don't do last minute dates.
فرق ما بين preferences و standards. Standards أنا عايز راجل بيشتغل عنده career growth عنده كذا عنده كذا عنده كذا. Preferences اللي أنا I can go on a coffee date. I don't do walking date. These are preferences.
زواجي بدك تكوني تعطي وقتك لحبيبك، تعطي وقتك لزوجك. مش بتخلص حياتها بس بصير أولويتها هي بيتها وجوزها. هذا
Okay. Fair enough. What this guy wants, he says, oh, when we get married, your priorities should shift to the home. Great. That's wonderful, dog. That's what you want, right? Like, okay, so this woman says, I don't do coffee dates. I don't do walking dates. If you're gonna be out with me, then you're gonna be spending money. But also, I look like this. So I paid the cost to be the boss. So she gets to get what she wants. That's not even right. She doesn't get to get what she wants. She gets to ask for what she wants. And then it's up to me to either, if she's interested in me, to either accept that or deny that. I don't get to complain about it. Everybody gets to want what they want. And then this man's saying when you get married, the woman's focus should be on the home. Fantastic, dog. You get to have that if that you can find somebody who will make that arrangement with you. You can want whatever you want. But what you cannot do is say your focus should be on me and the home. And by the way, you need to go out and get this money. And by the way, that's not even the agreement that we made when we got married. Stop the cap. Stop lying. Tell people, don't be afraid of people rejecting you. If that's what you want, tell them that's what you want. It's crazy. So if you want a trad wife, you better be treating her like a queen. And yeah, a queen doesn't have to worry about, is the Netflix bill getting paid this month? She don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Her personal life takes second place. She has to be beautiful with a nice body. Bro, so to get what you want physically, this woman has to prioritize herself to get the thing that you want. Do you think this is one of those dudes that thinks like it takes like, oh, I love it when women don't wear makeup. And like the look that they're thinking of, they're not wearing makeup, is a look that took 45 minutes to put on, to have whatever y'all call it, like fresh girl makeup or whatever. But this idea right here is paradoxical. This cannot exist. She's going to the gym. She's taking care of her body. She's going to Sephora. So therefore she can attract a man that she can keep going to the gym and going to Sephora and don't have to worry about how the bills are going to be paid. Like, she's doing this for herself. She just happens to like be in love with you at the same time. This is crazy talk. Or Shannon knows what she's talking about. A lot of people, I won't even say dudes, a lot of people, they might not even say this out loud. He's at least being honest here, even if his logic is broken. A lot of people want a harem. They want a soft harem where they want everybody. They want to do whatever they want in a relationship with no boundaries, no fence. But then they want that person to be waiting on them, or people to be waiting on them with bated breath when they get home, and their whole life mission and their whole focus is to be the sun that they orbit around. That is just insane narcissism.
The biggest red flag from her is when she said "أنا غنية وبدي هدية." Goes on a date, the guy brings her in a helicopter. He asks her how it is. She says, "Habibi, I'm used to it." The standards are through the roof.
Okay, dog. Maybe that's not the coolest thing to say, right? Oh, Habibi, I'm used to like being in a helicopter or whatever. But I want you to take a look at this woman, right? Take a look at this woman. What part of her lied to you about that? What part of how we don't know, I know nothing about her thoughts. I know nothing about her ethics or her values. Just looking at her right here of how she decides to present herself to the world, let alone how she decides to present herself. And I know very little about Arabic culture. And I know Arabic culture is not a monolith. But just how she decides to present herself as an Arabic woman in Arabic culture, the actual looks here, I want you to look at her and be like, what part of this lied to you? About like, I'm not impressed by being in a helicopter. I'm not impressed. I demand that you spend money on me. This is not a white woman with dreads. This is not a trustafarian pretending to be a hippie. This is a posh, haute couture, stylish woman. There's nothing about her that's lying to you. I don't know why. Why would you be surprised by this? I like her. I like her style. I like how like upfront and honesty is. I like him a little bitchy. I like him a little mean. But there's no planet where her and I would ever vibe in a relationship. But we could hang out, like we could be friends. I would love to hear her stories. It would be hilarious, right? But I'm not going to get mad at her for wanting what she wants. If anything, I'm going to be relieved if I was on a Tinder date with this woman that she's being honest and she's not she's not fish hooking me along, which I would not want to do the same to her. She seems cool AF.
Blind Habibi is that there is just so much misogyny to the point where a lot of cast members, both male and female, feel comfortable to shame, bully, and even try to control women on screen for like the entire world to see. People get really mad at
control. That's what I was saying, right? You're trying to neg these women into what you want them to be. And you think about, well, if I just make her feel shit about herself enough, she'll settle for me. Instead of being like, okay, this is what you want. I'm in love with you so hard, or I think I can't live without you, then I'm going to come up and meet that standard. If you don't want to meet that standard, dog, it's not worth it to you for her, then just don't do it. Go on and do something else.
Like people from the queer community, people with disabilities, they are also largely excluded.
And I want to say, too, like, I'm not even saying that the women in this show or the women who think like this, I don't do coffee dates, I don't do this. There is a high chance, a less than zero chance. I don't know high. I'm just talking out my butt, but it's like there's a less than zero chance. Like having that attitude means you're just going to die alone. You should be giving a ninja with a bus pass a chance, or this guy could just be the love of your life. I think you should be doing that. But that doesn't mean you're wrong for asking for what you want. Just like I'm not wrong for saying I don't want to engage with that. That's what I'm saying. And if these women ask me advice and they don't need advice from me, I would say, hey, maybe you shouldn't think about it as lowering your standards. You should think about it as increasing your options, increasing your opportunity. But that's the advice I would give if I was asked by them as a friend. But you're not wrong. If you want that, then just go get that. But then also understand you are limiting yourself. And if you're trying to get married and you're trying to have children, there is, especially for having children, there is a definite age cutoff for that. So you are risking you have to prioritize what you really want. If you are willing to be perpetually single all through life, and because these are your standards and that's what you want, then God bless and Godspeed. But if you're not willing to do that, just like these men want their cake and they eat it too, they want everything all the time, you are also asking for everything all the time, and just understand it might not work out for you. That's all.
Here is not whether or not any of these people's standards are right or wrong. Point here is that there is a double standard, that when the men make very unrealistic expectations, it's like, okay, like, yes, as you should.
Yeah, she's supposed to be this like amalgamation, this vessel that they just pour all of their like nonsense demands into, and she's supposed to demand nothing in return while keeping up appearances, while looking like that. Absolutely crazy.
Another business. It's the double-heeled shoe. Know that I put so many things on my plate, but I believe in my potential and I believe that I'm capable of.
Honestly, it just wasn't the right time. This wasn't a good surprise. could have waited a couple of more days. But when I'm done with my event, you and me, we need to sit down and talk.
The level of like I'm the center of the universe is insane here.
So you showing up at a shoe line launch with another guy that I've never met in my life, and this is my new business partner, ain't working for me. I'm sorry.
It's like these dudes think that these women just hatched from an egg, looking like this. It's like, you know, she had a full whole ass life like before you met her, bro. Like, are you just pretend that she didn't, and like she's just been like kind of LARPing in her own life, just waiting for you to come along. And then now she just flips a switch and turns that off. It's fucking crazy, dog.
Like you going to clubs and dancing with girls.
What does that have to do with
That's
anything?
not working for me, but that's your job, and this is mine.
Listen, you met me.
So
I was
what?
a DJ when...
What? That those words, I was a DJ when you met me, can come out of his mouth. But like, again, what I just said, like, I guess she just hatched from an egg. She just hatched from an egg, and she's there to serve him.
When you met me.
I was 23 when I met you. It's 10 years later,
Well,
honey.
you should have matured. Could you have not done your launch a week later? Could you have not done it a week later?
No.
I'm out. Honestly, I don't get back to work. Go do your thing.
Yeah,
That's
the
wild, dude.
gaslighting is like really high up.
That's
Could you not done it a week later? Like, what? But I will show one more clip because look at
Please
how this
do.
man talks about another woman. Like, it's insane.
Oh, LJ. LJ is like the Paris Hilton of the Middle East. She jumps into the DJ booth. She's already like acting like she's DJing. And honestly, it could be a DJ LJ coming soon. It's your LJ, like she's looking like a Barbie doll. She comes up on stage like a Paris Hilton of the Middle East vibe.
Like, what do you mean you're not supporting your wife in her entrepreneurial endeavors, but here you are, like, cheering on this other girl that you're not married to, you don't have children with, this other woman, supporting her so much in her sort of, like, endeavor and wanting to, like, you know, be a DJ or sing, because we see in season 2, I believe, LJ, she does a little piece where she sings and she dances and she has a little show. The double standards are through the roof, and the hypocrisy is, like, there's just...
I can explain that. So this is her blind spot here as a woman. So I can explain that very easily. So he looks at LJ as like, well, that's not my wife. I don't care. Like, she can be out here looking like whatever derogatory thing in his head he's thinking of, because that's just some girl, and maybe I might even get some cut up on the side. That's neither here nor there. But that's not my wife. When he sees, you know, Shoe Lady, he's like, well, you know, that's my wife, and it has nothing even to do with them. What he is afraid of, here's the key. Here is the key. The reason why he's cheering on DJ LJ and all this other stuff, because going back to, he doesn't care. He might be thinking, I'm gonna get some cut on the side, and you can talk about her any kind of way, because that's not mine. That's not none of mine, right? Keeping to the code, all these hoes for the streets, right? But now that he's claimed his wife and put his brand, you know, that's my wife. Everywhere I go, that's my wife. That's my wife. He's afraid of another him talking about her the way he talks about LJ, and by talking about her being, and that she's married to him, that is somehow in his mind a reflection on him, and he thinks it makes him look foolish. Like, he is getting played because all these dudes are like, your wife is out here, you know, shaking it, Babylon sister shaking it any kind of way for all kind of men, and it makes him feel some type of way. That's what it boils down to. That's what she cannot understand as a commentator here on all this as a woman. But with that being said, I'm gonna go get offline for a little bit.